Good evening. Not many people around at this hour. Not surprising. But I guess you folks may just see this in the replay. So I'm going to stream it anyway. So yeah, I've been streaming quite a bit of Heart.Break lately. I even restarted the game during previous stream, made some good progress since then. Things are going faster since I know more what I'm doing this time around. I've actually had a lot more stuff happening that I missed the first time. First time I was really getting lost in the city. I didn't understand many things, missed parts of conversations, didn't take notes from the start while I should have, because the game doesn't track history. And so, second playthrough, I'm doing it quite differently and it's going a lot better. However, the game is quite lengthy and I do like to take my time, and it's not a game with clear objectives, and a lot of it is just fiddling around, having fun, enjoying the game that feels very much alive, fiddling with the code and hacking all different stuff, which is probably not as great to watch live on the stream. And so I've decided to stop streaming the entire playthrough. Instead, I'm continuing my playthrough offline, but I will be providing regular updates on the stream about status, show some of the things I've done with hacking and coding some of the items in the game, while trying to avoid the storyline, because after all, I don't want to spoil the experience if anyone intends to grab this game at one point and give it a go. So I'm not gonna be updating about the story, but more about the fun and useful stuff that I've done in the game. So here we go, let's load up our last game here. And for those of you who watched the stream, the last few things that I was trying to do was mostly to make a master key that could open any door. I've also been fiddling with the fountain, which didn't quite work out. And I was taking notes inside my cigarette, because I could hack my cigarette, and I used it to make notes. I also made a drink, that was last time already, that would restore my stats such as sleepiness, to avoid having the need to sleep on a regular basis. I could just drink regularly, and the drink would have, as you can see here, 5000% liquid inside, so I can use it many times, and if it goes down I can still go to the sink and refill it with 10,000% at once. So that's already my first successful hack I did there. If we go at the code, let's quickly run through it. So whenever I drink, I will decrease my smelliness, my sleepiness, increase my charisma, and the drink will also get the room and say this room is with the name of the room. And whenever I use a sink, the sink name will be added to the code. However, I will have to modify the code of the sink, but I do have some generic code made up to modify a sink, because the sinks normally they replace the code of whatever drink they refill, and I want to avoid that to happen, of course, because I want to keep my own code, so I have to first modify the code of the sink. However, usually I will probably just use the sink in the hotel which has already been modified, which is this one: Hotel Diner Pour Water Tap 4. That's the name of the sink. So that's one thing. 10,000% cigarette? Well, not exactly, because in practice that makes you healthy, yeah. Does the cigarette reduce health? I'm not sure. Does it still have no, it doesn't have the code anymore. Trippy, turn left, turn right, fast forward, move, sleep, and quick boost. So There's nothing really that changes the health status. But like any drug in the game, you can get trippy from it, or it can make you move to the left or turn to the left, or even fast forward time. The quick boost, I think, is an energy boost. I'm not sure. The description is pretty vague. But yeah, as you can see here in the cigarette, I've stored my to-do list. So advance the main story, convert to database on floppy. That should be convert notes to database on floppy. Find a way to quickly save load useful data to a floppy disk instead of just copy pasting it inside this cigarette. Get more door codes that I'll explain later with the master key that I've developed. Get a better hacking device, because now I have the one found in the hotel, but it cannot hack doors, for instance, or a credit card. Get a portable device with a keyboard, because I have portable stuff, but none of that has a keyboard to actually enter something. It would be useful to have something that I can just type in and the portable device would store whatever I have typed. Preferably also a portable device with internet. If it would be one device, that would be even better. Find out how to use the extractor on self. Extractor is a piece of equipment that I found in the basement of the hotel, which is very useful because it can extract the name of something. It can extract stats from a person apparently, such as charisma and sleepiness, but I can't seem to use that on myself. And what's the point in getting sleepiness and charisma from someone else? I would like to see my own stats, but I don't know how. And of course, learn more programming. So then I have my notes, and as you can see, I've already started to change the notes to code. So I've created an array, and I append all the room names that I know. So whenever I find a new room, I intend to just add it here in this format. So it will create a database with room, an array with all the rooms. Similarly, an array with all the computers, with all the fuse boxes, all the doors. This one hasn't been made into code yet. Music tokens, characters, and then all code snippets that I found that may be useful, such as the codes from the fuse box, the code from the trash bin, the code from the radio. Just a few examples here of code, all stored inside my cigarette. Now, the only downside here is that these arrays, I can create a database in the code. However, since the cigarette has no memory, the database will be created, but as soon as I stop my smoke, the database will be gone again. Now, it doesn't really matter because all the data is stored inside, but ideally I want to have an object with a memory and then transfer all this to the object with memory, portable with memory. Now, come to think of it, I will add that to my to-do. Get a portable device with memory. Floppy disk. Maybe I can use a floppy disk for that. Yeah, it's a lot of code, but it's actually pretty simple. I don't know if you know about coding never, but whenever you add this character, whatever follows on that line is considered a comment. So the compiler will just ignore it, and you can put whatever you want behind that symbol. If there's no such symbol at the start of a line, then the compiler will assume that whatever is there is code and will try to compile it. So this here is just a command that creates an array and gives it the name rooms. So there is an array created rooms. An array is just a generic container full of elements, and you can add as many elements as you want. So I create an array and call it rooms, and then I append an element to it, and that element is called hotel room 1. Then I append a second element, hotel room 2. So this will create an array, and an array looks something like this. So hotel room 1. I think it's a dot comma, maybe it's a comma, I'm not entirely sure, and then so that's what is an array, and at the end, so it can have a certain amount of elements, but I don't need to know how many elements there are. I just use the append command, which will just add the element to the array. And something similar with computers, with fuse boxes. I give all different types of objects in the game. I will store them in their own array. So I will have an array with computers, an array with fuse boxes, an array with rooms, an array with doors, an array with characters, etc. Right, so well, the cool thing here in Netherlands is that the game actually has its own coding language. What you've just seen is called Spraak, and Spraak is the coding language they developed inside this game, and it's a working programming language. It's a combination of procedural programming and object-oriented programming, and you can do a lot of stuff with it. And there is a group of fans who is actually writing code for games that you can play on the arcade machines in the game. So they really just make games inside the game. I'm not sure if there's a way to actually transfer data to other players. I guess you could just copy paste it in a text file and then mail it to them or send it to them through whatever means, and they can just copy paste it inside the arcade machine and they would have the game themselves. Wouldn't be that hard to do. Right. Next thing here, of course, is, let me just check. Yeah, let's first talk about the extractor. I found this in the basement. So I can just look at an object and I can say, for instance here, extract from suitcase. So I use the extractor on the suitcase. Oh, but it stores the extractor. Normally right click is to store something inside a suitcase. But that was wrong text then, because the text said extract from suitcase and it didn't say store extractor in suitcase. So the text was not correct for the action that actually was going to happen. So let's take out the extractor. This is all the stuff that I have in my suitcase. This is solving also my inventory problem. I'm not sure if the suitcase has unlimited storage. Suitcase. Did I take it out now? Look at the bag. Yeah, the extractor is in my bag now, so now I can take the suitcase. Yeah, put down the suitcase again. It's a bit clunky. RTS. There's a lot. It's very open and very open world. You can do quite a bit of stuff in this game, and that's very interesting indeed. There aren't really many clear objectives, but the game also feels pretty much alive. So let's take the extractor again. We'll have to use it on something else. Do we have another object here? Yeah, water. So we can extract from water. And now the extractor tells us that this is hotel room 1 glass of water. That's the name of the object itself. And that's useful because you can use it then in code. So sometimes in order to be able to use something in your code, you probably need the name, and the extractor can do just that. You could also use it on a door, for instance. Extract from door, and I would get the name of the door. If I then go to the basement, to the computer of the hotel, I could actually use the name of the door in a command to open it, for instance, if there is a remote function for that. So yeah, the extractor is pretty helpful. I already made a few changes here, and one of the things here is say name is name. So if type is a person, then it would say charisma is, sleepiness is, and speed is. And if it's a computer, it would say connections are. But the thing is, you can normally use it on a person, but I cannot right click on myself, so I don't know how I could possibly use it on myself to find out my own stats. So that was the plan, but yeah, I need to find a solution for that. Now let's move on to our key, shall we? Because this is something I've been looking in for a while, and I've actually made a whole program to go through this. And the first thing is that I've created a variable called mode. And mode can have there are four different modes to use a key that I've programmed. The first one, if you let it at 0, if the character mode is set to 0, then the key will just unlock any doors where it already knows the code. So for instance, you can see here, hotel room 1, room 2, room 3, I know the code. So it will just cycle through the code it knows and then stop. It will not try to open any doors where I don't know the code yet. This is useful because if I wouldn't do this, then even on a door that I already unlocked, it would still start to run the hacking code, which can take like 10 minutes or so to go through the full cycle on a door where I already know the code, so that's not necessary. So when I regularly use the code, it is set to 0. It just opens the doors that I've already cracked, and it will not try to open any others. Then we have mode 1. 1 will do the same, but then it will also try to force any unknown easy doors. Easy doors are the ones with a 4-digit code. Now there are also doors in the game with a 5-digit code. So in order to hack those, I will have to use mode 2, and that will go through all the digits up to 99,999. And the last option, option 3, is where I actually specify a range of codes that I want to run through. So, and then I have to enter these two variables. So I have a range from range 2. For instance, assume that I was hacking a hard door and I went to 50,000, and then I saved my game and I went off, and I come back the next day and I want to continue without going from the start. I could actually specify the range of codes I want to run through. So I think I've covered all the scenarios that I can have, and the only thing I need to do before using the key, if I want to crack a door, is modify this variable to 1 or 2 or 3, and in that case I also need to modify the range. But normally it's set to 0 and it just opens the doors I know. Now, how does it work? Opening the doors I know is something that's done always. It just toggles. Toggles means there is a command unlock, and you can see the possible commands at the bottom. If I say unlock, it will unlock the code, and that's the door, but I have to specify the code between the brackets, so I need to know the code. Lock is the same, but it will lock the door. And toggle will change the state. So if it's locked, it will unlock it. If it's unlocked, it will lock it. So toggle is actually a lock-unlock command combined. But, and that's an interesting thing that I didn't realize, and that was my main issue. I didn't have a way to find out if a door was locked or not. But if I look at the command here at the bottom, it says unlock returns true on success. So basically, if I put in a command unlock 111, if that succeeds, then the method itself will give a return boolean. A boolean is just true or false, and it will say true if it worked and false if it didn't work, and I can then use that in my code to decide what to do next. And that's what I will actually need for my code. So here it will run through all these toggles. Some of them will fail, of course, but the right one's in there, so it will eventually unlock the door that I want to open. It took me about an hour or two. Could have done it much faster, of course, but well, if you count the time that I spent in the previous streams, then I could say maybe 5 or 6 hours, but I'm really not a great programmer, and I haven't done really well with that. The thing is also that I'm missing some of the information. Like in a normal programming language, you would have full documentation. Here you have some documentation, but you don't know everything. That's part of the game, of course, finding out and finding solutions around problems. But as soon as I got through the concept of getting that return value true or false, and realized what I was doing wrong before, I think I spent about an hour, something like that. I've also documented my code so I understand later why I'm doing certain things. So up till now it's just unlocking any doors that it knows. And then in order to do the actual cracking of codes, it will say if the mode is bigger than 0. So then it means it needs to crack the code. Then it will loop, and this is the main element here. This code here, mode smaller than 3, this is all done to actually set the value of range from and to determine which number it should start with until which number. So based whether I choose mode 1, 2 or 3 only changes the starting number and the end number. That's all it does. And that's this code over here. And then a second part is actually looping through all the numbers in that range and trying out if it can open the door or not. So I just say loop x from the starting number, which is range from, to the ending number, which is range to. And it will then say, and this is where I screwed up before, if toggle x. So toggle x is the command to unlock the door with x as the code. X, as we're going through the loop, might be something like 1111. Then it will try to unlock the door with 1111. Now if that works, it will return true, and then the if here will say if this is true, and it is true, then it will run this next code. However, most of the time it will not work, it will be false, so it will not run the code below and it will just continue with the loop. It will just take the next number and it will continue to run until it eventually finds the right code here, provided that the right code is within the range I've specified to crack. If it is the right code, then it will continue here. It will change x, increase x by 1, try to open the door with x plus 1, which would then be 1112, which will fail, of course, because that is the wrong code, which is a wrong code. But it will then stop the loop. And as a result, if I'm tired, let's take our drink here. You can see he's getting sleepy, so let's use our drink. Oh, Maisie, there you are. Yeah, you need some fuel at times. I need several fuels. Booze, food, cigarettes. Right, and every time I drink, it tells me the room I'm in, which is kind of useful, but not here because I already know the room name. So let's go back to our key. Let's just temporarily, just to show you how it works, let's just use the key in the regular fashion. So if we let the parameter mode stay at 0, then it will go through all these toggles, starting with the correct one for my hotel room is 1111, hotel room 1. However, the code will continue, it will go to the other ones, but it will not go to the rest because that's only when mode is bigger than 0. So the last one it will try is 4911. Now if I use the key on my door, it will go through these codes. It will work because it was locked. It was unlocked and now it is locked. And good night, Netherlands, no worries. I'm almost finished though because it's just a quick update. But good night and catch you later. So whenever I use the key, it does unlock the door. But it still says invalid code 4991, and that is because it is the last one I tried. It will always say that the last one you tried, if it fails, that it was the wrong code, and it will tell you the code. And why am I doing this? Well, the thing is, when I do find the right code, the key can't store the right code. So somehow it has to tell me what the code was if I crack a door. And that's exactly what I'm doing here with this if statement. If the code was right, then it will increment the code with 1, try that code, and it will break. So the code that the invalid code that it will say is just one more than the correct one. And that way I actually find the right code. Let's see, so the code was 1111 for my hotel room 1. Let's try something and say I put the mode to 3. So I select, I want to crack the door using codes in a given range, and the given range I'll specify is 1000 to 1300. Now we know that the right code is in that range, it's 1111. Let's exit and then lock our door, or try to lock our door. It will run through the codes. 1111 will successfully unlock the door. It will then increment by 1, go to 1112, and then fail and end the loop. And so I know, since it said 1112, that the correct code was 1111. And that's how I found out several codes already, even some of the harder doors like this one, 45,914 and 54,331. So yeah, I've actually made a key that can go through all these things successfully. Let's put it back to state, the normal state, state 0, and then lock the door of my room. And it will always say 4991 if I do it in regular mode, but I don't mind. I know it works, so I don't care whatever it tells me. Now let's see if we can find a locked door that we haven't unlocked yet, and I'll show you how I actually hack it. Let's go outside and find ourselves a locked door. Well, there's no locked doors over here. Well, we could try to lock it instead of unlocking it. Yeah, let's just do that. So this door is currently unlocked. The guy doesn't lock his door for some reason. But we're going to try and lock it then. That will give us the code, even if we don't need it, because the door is normally not locked. So I'm gonna first try to open it, assuming it is an easy door with a 4-digit code. And it will start running. Wait, what? Unlocked? Why does it say unlocked? Okay, I'm confused. It's set to 1. Can make a second Facebook account? Okay, that's cool. I wasn't sure if that was allowed. But why does it actually say unlocked? It should go through all those codes and it should give an error. Right? So why on earth is it just working instead of... Okay, let's find another one, because there may be something peculiar about this door. Yeah. This one. Hack it. Huh? Oh, it only works to unlock. Apparently my master key only works to unlock a locked door and not to lock an unlocked door. So we're just gonna have to find a locked door. They're all unlocked. There goes the plan. Well, there must be some unlocked doors around here. Well, the radio station I'm gonna stay away because the ministry was there. But why do people never close their doors? Oh, there's a locked door. Right. Hack it. And now it's running through all the codes from 0 to 9999. Turn down the volume a bit. Okay, it might be a hard one. That's gonna take longer. If it's not in a 4-digit one, then it's gonna take a while to hack that. Almost there. I'm hoping it will unlock now, because otherwise it's... Oh! Invalid code 7473. Right. 7473. So I'm gonna add this. 7473. 7473, but we were one number too far, so the right code should be 7472. Add door name. Right. We're gonna set the mode to 0, because we know the code now, so it should work in mode 0, because we've cracked this door. Lock it. Yep, it works. Unlock it. Lock it. Perfect. There we go. Oh yeah, we need to add the door name. So let's take our extractor. Extract from door. Harbor North door to Fancy House 2. Harbor North door to Fancy House 2. Harbor North door to Fancy House 2. North door to Fancy House 2. There we go. And we've just added this door to our key. Now let's take a peek inside, shall we? Let's just hope we don't meet any police. computers, right. Could be cool if we found a better hacking device here, but digital trash. More digital trash. Well, we're not gonna try and use the computer. I might do this afterwards, of course, but currently we're just gonna do a playthrough. Where's this door heading? There's a door here, and there's a... Oh no, I thought there was a stair to the basement, but it's not. Or is this going to the basement? Oh, there's someone inside. Let's get out of here before he notices us. Well, nothing too special in this fancy house, but we don't mind. And that's that. We have a functional master key, and we can easily add the codes of any doors we have learned, and it can crack any door we haven't learned. And that's about it with the updates, folks. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to come up with some more clever stuff. So yeah, regular updates will be coming on a frequent basis, and I will go back to streaming some of the other games I have still on my list, such as Vampire the Masquerade, Bloodlines, and Crusader Kings 2, and others. So with that, thanks a lot for watching, and catch you around soon, folks. Bye.